In June of 2026, researchers at the University of Valencia published a paper in one of the most unusual categories in the history of academic science. The title of the paper was essentially a question that most scientists had never considered worth writing about, because the answer seemed so obvious it barely deserved formal analysis. The question was this: if aliens landed on Earth tomorrow, what would they eat? And the answer the paper arrived at, after examining the biochemistry, the metabolism, and the fundamental logic of how energy extraction works across the range of living systems science currently understands, is not what most people would expect. The answer is almost certainly nothing on Earth, not because Earth lacks food, because food, in the biological sense, is not a universal category. It is a relationship, a compatibility between the chemistry of what is being consumed and the chemistry of the system consuming it. And there is no particular reason to assume that a living system that evolved on another planet, under different chemistry, in a different environment, with different molecular machinery, would have any biochemical compatibility with anything that evolved on this one. The more interesting question, and the one that opens the real strangeness of this topic, is what such a system would eat instead. Start with the most fundamental fact about eating. Eating is not about food. Eating is about energy. Every living thing in the history of Earth exists to solve one problem, which is how to extract enough energy from the environment to maintain its own organized structure against the constant tendency of the universe toward disorder, to replicate, and to do all the things that constitute being alive. Food is one solution to that problem. Specifically, it is the solution that worked for multicellular heterotrophic life on this planet. But it is not the only solution, not even close. Earth itself demonstrates a range of energy extraction strategies that most people have never heard of, and that range gives you a sense of how much wider the universe's range might be. The strategy most familiar to humans is hydrothermal, consuming other organisms or their byproducts, to extract the chemical energy stored in their molecular bonds. Every animal on Earth is a heterotroph. This includes humans, every creature we have ever eaten, and every creature that has ever eaten us. The strategy works because living organisms are full of high-energy molecules, particularly the ATP-generating compounds in their cells, that a digestive system can break down and extract energy from. But heterotrophy requires other life to exist first. It is a secondary strategy, dependent on primary producers who built the energy stores that heterotrophs then exploit. Primary producers on Earth, the organisms at the base of every food chain, use one of two strategies. The first is photosynthesis, using sunlight to drive chemical reactions that convert carbon dioxide and water into glucose and oxygen. Photosynthesis powers essentially all the ecosystems on Earth's surface and is so efficient at capturing solar energy that it has shaped the entire atmosphere of the planet over billions of years. The second primary production strategy is chemolithotrophy, literally rock eating, and it is the one that most people have never heard of, despite the fact that it sustains entire ecosystems with no connection to sunlight at all. Site index equals 10:1. Chemolithotrophs obtain energy and biomass by oxidizing geochemicals, including iron, manganese, and other metals. Site, they live at hydrothermal vents in the deep ocean, in the cores of nuclear reactors, in highly acidic mine runoff, and in solid rock miles beneath the surface. They do not need sunlight, they do not need organic compounds, they need chemical gradients, the difference in energy potential between one molecule and another, and they extract that difference to power their biology. The chemolithotrophs are crucial to this conversation because they demonstrate something that planetary science has been slowly absorbing for the past 2 decades. A planet does not need sunlight to support life. It needs chemical gradients. And chemical gradients are available wherever geological processes are active, wherever tectonic activity drives hydrothermal circulation, wherever radioactive decay produces heat that drives subsurface chemistry. This includes ocean moons with no surface sunlight at all, including Enceladus and Europa, where the internal heating from gravitational tidal flexing drives hydrothermal chemistry at the ocean floor. The chemolithotrophs on Earth eat rock chemistry. Their alien equivalents, if they exist, would eat whatever chemical gradients their environment provides. On Enceladus, that might be the reaction between liquid water and hot silicate rock, producing hydrogen gas as a byproduct, which other organisms could in turn use as an energy source. On Europa, it might be radiolytic compounds produced by the bombardment of the ice shell by Jupiter's radiation, which could percolate down into the ocean and provide chemical fuel to organisms in the water below. And then there is a third energy strategy that is almost completely unknown outside specialist microbiology: radiotrophic life. In 1999, researchers studying the Chernobyl nuclear exclusion zone found something that made no immediate sense. Black fungi growing on the walls of the destroyed reactor building, in environments of intense radiation that should have been lethal to any organism. Further studies showed that these fungi were not merely surviving the radiation, they were growing toward it. Their melanin, the same pigment that in humans absorbs UV radiation and causes tanning, was absorbing, ionizing radiation, and converting it to chemical energy. They were eating radiation, using it the same way plants use sunlight, as a primary energy input that drives chemical reactions producing the compounds they need to grow. These are real organisms, currently living in the Chernobyl exclusion zone and in the walls of the International Space Station, which has also been colonized by radiation-tolerant fungi. They demonstrate that ionizing radiation, one of the most universally available energy sources in the universe, can serve as the primary input for a biological energy extraction system around pulsars and near radioactive planetary crusts. Organisms using this strategy could be the dominant form of life. Site index equals 11 to 1. In astrobiology, it is generally thought that life requires three things: a source of energy, a liquid medium, and suitable chemical elements. But that does not mean all living beings in the universe share the same diet. Site diet is not just about energy, it is about biochemistry, microbiome, and evolutionary history. And here is where the question of what aliens eat becomes specifically interesting in relation to Earth. The biochemical compatibility problem runs in both directions. Site index equals 11 to 1. Terrestrial protein might be of no use to alien digestive systems that use different amino acids. Earth's sugars might prove useless if their metabolism could not handle them. Site or bacteria may devastate alien life, or perhaps not infect it at all. The chemistry that connects a human stomach to the food in it is not a general feature of biology. It is a specific, Earth-evolved relationship. An alien digestive system, if it has anything resembling a digestive system, would have evolved to extract energy from the molecules available in its home environment. Using enzymes and metabolic pathways calibrated to those specific molecules, encountering Earth molecules for the first time, it would be in approximately the situation of someone trying to charge a device designed for a completely different electrical standard. The connector does not fit. The voltage is wrong, nothing happens. This has a specific implication that H.G. Wells intuited in 1898 in The War of the Worlds, and that modern astrobiology has since put on a more rigorous footing. Wells's Martian invaders are ultimately killed not by human weapons but by terrestrial microorganisms against which they have no immune defenses. The insight was correct in both directions. An alien visiting Earth would face Earth microorganisms that its immune system was never trained to recognize or fight, because its immune system evolved against alien pathogens, not Earth ones. But simultaneously, Earth pathogens trying to infect an alien might find nothing to attach to. The specific molecular locks that viruses use to enter cells are shaped to fit specific receptors on Earth's cell surfaces. An alien cell surface, using different molecules and different arrangements, would present no recognizable receptor to any Earth pathogen. The alien might be completely immune to everything in Earth's biosphere, not through any specialized defense mechanism, but through sheer incompatibility, like a key being inserted into a completely wrong type of lock. Now take this logic to the most alien possible energy strategies. Some researchers have proposed that life in environments dominated by magnetic fields rather than chemical gradients might evolve to extract energy from those fields directly. Life, organisms that use magnetic field variations as an energy source, has no confirmed Earth analog, but the theoretical basis for such a metabolism has been explored in peer-reviewed astrobiology literature. The physics that makes magnetotrophism theoretically possible is real, even if no organism on Earth has been found to use it as a primary energy source. Around strongly magnetized objects like magnetars or the magnetic poles of gas giants, a biosphere built on magnetic field energy extraction would be as natural as a biosphere built on photosynthesis is around a star like our Sun. Even more speculatively, some researchers have proposed that advanced intelligence might eventually evolve or engineer metabolisms that extract energy from quantum processes, from vacuum fluctuations at the Casimir scale, or from the thermodynamic gradients between different temperatures in a planetary or stellar environment. These proposals are extremely speculative and involve physics that is not yet understood well enough to assess their biological plausibility, but they illustrate the range of the question. The universe contains energy gradients of many kinds, in many environments, at many scales. Life on Earth exploits a narrow slice of those gradients. The diversity of energy sources available across billions of star systems and billions of years of evolution represents a possibility space so much larger than what Earth biology has explored, that treating photosynthesis, chemolithotrophy, and heterotrophy as the full answer to the question of how life gets energy is like assuming that the only colors in the universe are the ones visible to the human eye. So what do aliens eat? If they are microbial and live in an ocean, like Enceladus, they probably eat the chemical products of hydrothermal reactions, the hydrogen sulfide, the methane, the dissolved minerals that water picks up as it circulates through hot rock, using electron transfer reactions that have no analog in any human kitchen. If they are multicellular and live on a planet with sunlight but different atmospheric chemistry, they might photosynthesize using a pigment that absorbs wavelengths invisible to human eyes, producing byproducts that would be toxic to every organism on Earth. If they evolved around a radioactive planetary crust, or near a neutron star, they might eat radiation with the same metabolic logic that black fungi use at Chernobyl, extracting energy from ionizing particles in an environment that would sterilize an Earth ecosystem within hours. and if they are advanced enough to have taken control of their own biology, they might eat nothing in any recognizable sense, having engineered metabolic systems that extract energy from sources we have not yet characterized, or perhaps cannot yet detect.